a lot of time and a lot of work. Don't burden him with chores. Don't discuss anything that's unpleasant with him. Make sure you fix all of his meals right on time. Make sure that the house is always clean. And make sure that you all have relations at least once a day. Oh, she rubbed her head thinking that's a lot to do. But they left and started on the way home. And on the way home, her husband asked her, he said, "Well, what did the doctor have to tell you?" And she said, "Honey, he said you're going to die."
A man got a parrot which could already talk. It had belonged to a sailor and had a very big vocabulary. However, the man soon discovered that the parrot mostly knew bad words. At first, he thought it was funny, but then it became tiresome, and finally, when the man had important guests, the bird's bad words embarrassed him very much. As soon as the guests left, the man angrily shouted at the parrot, "That language must stop." But the bird answered him with curses. He shook the bird and shouted again, "Don't say those ugly words again." The bird cursed him. Now the man was really angry. He grabbed the parrot, threw him into the refrigerator, but it had no effect. From inside the refrigerator, the parrot was still swearing. He opened the door, took him out, and again the bird spoke in dirty words and curses. This time the man opened the door of the freezer, threw the bird into it, and closed the door. This time there was silence. After about 2 minutes, the man opened the door, removed the very cold parrot. Slowly, the shivering parrot walked up the man's arm, sat on his shoulder, and spoke into his ears, sounding very frightened. "I'll be good, I promise. Those chickens in there, what did they do?"
A little girl walked to and from school daily. Though the weather that morning was questionable and clouds were forming, she made her daily trek to the elementary school. As the afternoon progressed, the winds whipped up along with lightning. The mother of the little girl felt concerned that her daughter would be frightened as she walked home from school, and she feared the electrical storm might harm her child. Full of concern, the mother quickly got into her car and drove along the route to her child's school. As she did, she saw her little girl walking along. At each flash of lightning, the girl would stop, look up, and smile. Another and another flash of lightning followed quickly, and with each, the little girl would look at the streak of light and smile. When the mother's car drove up beside the child, she lowered the window and called to her, "What are you doing?" The child answered, "I'm trying to look pretty because God keeps taking my picture."
There was this young couple that had been married but about a year, and so they sent after the local preacher that had married them because they'd had a lot of fussing and fighting and arguing amongst themselves. So the preacher agreed, and he went down there one afternoon about 5 o'clock, and as soon as he walked in the door, he could tell that they had been having an argument that day. And he said to him, he said, "Well, maybe y'all can explain to me what you had just been arguing about, and maybe that'll help me to help y'all get along better." And so the man said, "Well, I don't want to talk about it." And the little lady spoke up and she said, "He accused me of not being able to make bread like his mama." And the little boy spoke up and said, "That's right, sir. She can't make bread like my mama." And the little girl looked over at him and said, "Well, if you made dough like my daddy, I could."